All over the world at WNST.net. We never stop talking Baltimore sports.
Forget what the stat was we had in the booth the other day, because obviously Kurt Warner, another one, because I was doing the Arizona St. Louis game. And so we had all the numbers and stuff with Kurt Warner, who's having a monster year. And you see a lot of those numbers, 300-yard games, total yards back. Kerry Collins' name is around a lot of those numbers, and because he's lasted long enough. What he gives them now is a guy that's been there. And it's like, okay, I know how this works, okay? And calm down, or don't be calm. And he knows how. Quarterbacks hate that term, manage the game. I mean, it's like...
It's an insult, right?
It is to a degree.
Because it implies you can't win the game, right?
But a guy like Kerry Collins understands exactly what that means and will embrace it.
Well, I mean, they beat us a couple of weeks ago on the last drive. Defense kicked them around all day, couldn't get anywhere. But when it mattered, last 5 minutes of the game, on the road, Kerry Collins had been there before. And you always said that about McNair, that being there before matters, and maybe when it comes down to with Joe Flacco, Joe hasn't been there yet. But maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more later.
But we'll get there. You know, it's one of those things. What on a football field has happened that Kerry Collins or a Steve McNair has not seen before? So there's a reference frame to come to go along with it. And Joe will get there.
As far as the work you're doing right now, how much AFC football do you get to see? I mean, obviously over the 10 years was all you did, and maybe when you got here in '99, you didn't know the AFC that well because you were coming from the Vikings and had been there for a period of time. You're getting back into these NFC teams now, and those are the ones you're kind of focusing on. It must be a whole new world for you.
You know, it's still football. You really
but the players.
Yeah, getting used to the players. Looking at Oakland now, this is the first chance I've actually got to look at the ratings because they're on the film exchange. I've got Oakland's games.
Okay.
And it's the first time I've actually done film exchange because I'll get 4 games on each team that I'm covering. And this is the first time I've actually in exchange had the ratings.
So, what are you seeing?
You know what? I mentioned it today, I think, on Rob's show.
If you watched the Raiders game, you saw a really bad team.
But what I did see was, and a lot of people, it's interesting, aren't talking about it, because obviously Joe is really maturing. You can see it was great to see the Rice kid run well. Obviously playing great defense. I don't hear a lot of people talking about the offensive line is playing really well. And particularly, even with all the changes. Which, you know, when I saw what was going on with the changes, and everything tends to be obviously focused on Joe Flacco to a degree offensively, but I haven't heard many people talking about, and as I look at the film, and obviously they're doing well, the offensive line is playing very, very well. And I think that, and it's going to be together for a while. I think that should be a real cause for optimism.
Before we get more to the Raiders, I'll take a break, but before we do that, Oakland, you got Oakland this week. What do you...
Only because I have to.
You coached a couple of teams that were, subpar 5-11, but not like this. I mean, last year we're 5-11. There were 3 or 4 games you could have 9-7. This is a team here that I saw them play, and Drew got up at halftime and wanted to leave. He was like, this looks like a Pop Warner team. What are you seeing when you put the projector on? And obviously, and we can get into this a little bit more in the next segment too about coaching changes, but I mean, you extract your coach in week 4. Cable's doing the best job he can do to put the thing together, but they don't have a whole lot of talent, right?
No, when you look at what jumped out at me in the preparation, when you look at their draft choices, let's kind of go back. Now, Darren McFadden been hurt, so jury's out early. Jamarcus Russell is, wow. I mean, Jamarcus Russell was as highly rated player as I think I've ever seen on our board in 9 years with the Raiders.
You would have taken it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, across the board. And right now, I just don't see it. I need to look at it more. I'm waiting, and I don't expect to see a complete player. He really hasn't played that much, so you got to give him a chance. But I'm looking for that one play that says, yeah, that's the guy we thought. I've yet to see. Now,
what is that play? Tell me what impresses you from a quarterback's perspective. What does a quarterback have to do to impress you? Wrong question. Wrong segment.
You're asking me.
All over the world at WNST.net. We never stop talking Baltimore sports.